Okay, so hello and very good evening to all the new interns who have joined yesterday and all the previous interns who have joined for the presentations. Okay, so first of all, I would like all of you to welcome Mr. Akash Lamba. He will be conducting the Scrum meeting for today. Okay, based on how the presentations will go, we will try to have a parallel presentation so that most of the people can give the presentation. Okay, so for today, please give your presentations and we will have a feedback. Mr. Akash will give you feedback. Okay. So we'll start now. Akash, you can now take over.
Yeah, so I've seen that everyone has raised their hand. I'll go according to the hands raised. Owais, can you please unmute yourself and start your presentation? Please
Mm,
do tell the topic before starting.
yes. My topic is no. Should I start now topic or
Yeah,
when
yeah,
I
yeah. You
present?
can start the presentation. Uh, you can share the screen as well, and do turn your mic on and the camera as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you see my screen?
Uh, yeah. One second. Yeah. Okay. Understanding software. Okay. Start.
Yeah. So, hello everyone. Good evening. My name is Owais and I will be presenting you on about my task, which is understanding client software requirement specification. What does it actually mean to understand client software requirement specification? It means that creating an SRS for an SRS document. So in today's agenda, we will get to know what is the definition of an SRS, how it is made, and what is the purpose, and what are the types of readers that will be reading our particular SRS document, and so on. So let's start with the definition or what is an SRS. So SRS is the official statement of what the system developer should implement. SRS is a complete description of the behavior of the system to be developed. What this means is that whenever we have an SRS, the developer will develop the software according to the SRS. So SRS is sort of a demo of our software. So whatever SRS has, it will be implemented into our software. So SRS should include both a definition of user requirements and a specification of the system requirements. It means that user requirements might change. So when a user requires a high-end application, then our system requirements will also change. Like from 4 GB RAM, it might require 8 GB RAM and etc. And so we have to point that out and we have to make it sure. So SRS, the fully describes what the software will do and how it will be expected to perform. Now, what are the purpose of SRS? SRS precisely defines the software product that will be built. SRS used to know all the requirements for the software development and thus that will help in designing the software. It provides feedback to the customer. As you can see, it provides feedback to the customer. It means we can develop and we can give the customer the product and we can review it and we can change it back again. So SRS format. So how we will write an SRS? So first of all, it's is the introduction. So what is the product and what we'll be making in it? We'll be writing that in a short form. Then we have overall description in which we will talk about the functions of our the product, what it will have, what it will not, and how it will work according to that. And we have external interface requirements. Then we will talk about the interfaces in that, like user interfaces, hardware interfaces, etc. Then we have system features such as the functions only. It works as a function. Like for example, we need to calculate something. So we will write in the SRS that it is that calculation, and then we will talk about how we need to calculate that certain thing. And this is why we'll talk about like system feature one, and then how we will do that, and system feature two, and so on. So there's non-functional requirements, which is important as well because it involves performance, safety, and security. Performance is mostly important because we need the responsiveness and the feel of the software to be good. Then we have types of readers who will read this SRS. So as you can see, we have five main, which is system customers, managers, system engineers, system test engineers, and system maintenance engineers. So let's talk about system customers. System customers is nothing but the users that will be using our product. So they specify the requirements, and then we can note it down, and then we can give it back to them so they can read it and they can say that if it meets their needs. Then we have managers. Managers requires they check the SRS and develop a system. And according to that system, they make the software and how it will be and what time they will make and how which shift who will take, and that's all. Then we got system engineers. It's system engineers nothing but developers who will be making the SRS or will be making the software from the SRS. Then we got system test engineers. System test engineers are people who, after getting the product that is developed and according to the SRS, they will compare and test the system for its functionality, and they will check whether if it's perfect or not, or it's working or not. Then we got system maintenance engineer. They will use the requirement that is the SRS to understand the system and the relationship between its parts. As there are so many different parts, so it cannot be based on one. There could be something like addition, there could be multiplication, and we will requiring both of them to work together in a similar manner. So they will check if it's perfect and they are working together and they will maintain that. Then we got the characteristics of SRS. There are so many, but I will point out the few main ones, which is correct, unambiguous, and complete. As you can see, correct, incorrect, every requirement given is so every point addition, like we need this name, age, etc. And that particular point needs to be there in the software itself. So every requirement given in SRS is a requirement of the software. Unambiguous, every requirement has exactly one interpretation. And then complete includes all function, performance, design, external interface requirements, definition of the response of the software to all inputs. What this basically means is that whatever we make, whatever its functionality, its design, its everything needs to be perfect and working well together with each other. And other characteristics are consistent, ranked importance, that it needs to be verifiable, it should be modifiable. Absolutely, because when you're working with client, sometimes the client doesn't like what we have done. So we need to modify some certain things. So it needs to be modifiable according to that. So let's come to the conclusion. So most of them follow IEEE 830 standard to make a good SRS. So what does SRS actually do? It establishes the basis of for agreement between the customers and the suppliers on what the software product is to do. Reduce the development effort. Provide a basis for estimating costs and schedules. Provide a baseline for validation and verification. Serve as a basis for enhancement. If there is any questions, you can ask me. Thank you. That was my presentation.
Okay, Owais, that was a good presentation by your side. The PPT was very good, well made. The information was consistent, and by the looks of it, you were fluent in your flow. You did not stop in between. But the information was what I feel is a little too much. It could be shortened down a little more. Overall, it was a good presentation. Keep it up. Uh, okay, so you're done. You can take your hand out. If you have any questions, you can ask.
Yeah, when do I receive the score and all?
You'll receive it within 48 hours.
Thank you. So I'm done, right?
Yeah, you're done.
Okay, thank you.
So next is Rohit Kumar Patra.
Hello, sir.
Good
Am I
evening,
visible?
Rohit.
Very good evening, sir.
Yes, you can
Am I
start.
audible?
Yeah, you are. Do tell me your topic name before
Sure.
starting.
1 minute, sir. Sir, is my screen is visible?
1 second. Yes, it is visible. So what is the topic?
Sir, my topic is 1 minute, sir. So, my topic is implementation of Caesar Cypher in Java. So first of all, good evening, sir. And my first project name is DRDO cryptography analysis. So the task is implementation of Caesar Cypher in Java. So my name is Rohit Kumar Patra and I am from Java Developer Group. So here is the outline of my project. Here outline of my PPT. Introduction, how it works, example diagram, code and output, and conclusion. So first we will see the introduction phase. So here the Caesar cipher, which is a simplest technique and oldest technique, and it is used by Julius Cipher, and it was first called the shift cipher. After that, it is called the Caesar cipher. So it is a kind of replacement where all letter of plain text replaced by another letter. So if it is A, then if you will shift 3, so it will be a shift into D. So after that, we will see how it works. So it is some steps how it works. So first, it will identify the character and sentence. After identify the character and sentence, it will identify the location. That's mean the character of A, small a, the location is 97. So it will identify the location. After that, it will add the key, shift key. If we will add 3, so it will add the 3 to 97. That will be 100. So after shifting the key, it will build a new sentence using the new character in place of the original character. After building the original character, it will repeat until the sentence length is reached. If my name is Rohit, that means it will reach till T, ROHAT. So after that, it will return the result. So here is the example of my project. That for I took the example in 3. So here that's mean if I will shift A, it will be D, and another if I will shift B in 3 step, it will be E, and also C, it will be F. So here is the my name example that Rohit, it will if it I will shift 3, then it will be URKLW. So where U substitutes for R for O, K for H, L for I, and W for T. After that, we will see the diagram. This is the diagram that it shifted for 3 steps. The A is D, B is E, and C is F. So this is diagram. After this is my code and output. I am showing my code. Is my code is visible? Hello.
Yes, it is visible.
So this is my whole code. I have used here a function, and I also use a main object to call that function. So I am running my code. So here I will type Hekveda, then it will be output the Hekveda. That means H is capital letter. So here it is the output is capital. A is small, it is the output is small. So I am running another example that capital and small. So it is the output of Hekveda that HACK is capital. So KDFN is capital and VDA is small and YHGT is small. So this is my project. This is my code output. So after that, I will see. After that, we will see the conclusion part. Conclusion part. So the conclusion is Caesar cipher. It is a simplest technique to involve shifting each letter the plain text to create a cipher text. So here the cipher text is used to secure the text. That means if we will send a message to a person, then in the middle, the hacker will see the message. So it will be not good for us. So we use cipher text to secure that message. So here, although the cipher text is text is implement easy and understand, but it can be easily broke using frequency analysis and brute force attack. So here the brute force as attack means hacker. So hackers are always trying to hack that code. That's mean trying that general password. So it is also breakable using hacker that break. So another is also frequency analysis. So, however, it can still be useful for quick. However, it can still be useful for quick and basic encryption. So, last is overall the seizure. Sorry, one more. So, let's say overall the seizure cipher serves as a fundamental concept in the field of cryptography and encryption. So, it is give the concept of cryptography and encryption. So, this is my reference. And any question and answer. And after, thank you. My project.
The presentation was nice. You could have improved in the demo. Like while giving the demo, you could just explain what you're
Yeah.
doing. At the same time, you did explain. I'm not telling you did not explain. You could
Yes.
have explained it much more elaborately. So if people are new here, they would not understand what are the codes written. Just in
Okay.
plain English, you can just read over the classes. Yeah, this is the class. This class will do this, and you
Okay.
can just get over it.
Can I tell the code again? So,
No, it's fine now that you have done it. Just improve it in the next presentation. It was overall a nice presentation.
thank you, sir.
But you have the potential to improve on it. So that's fantastic.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Rohit.
Thank you.
Next is Sahil. Rohit, you can turn your mic off and camera. Okay. Sahil, you can start.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
So, is my voice audible?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, it is. You're visible and audible at the same time. Just be a little loud.
Yes, sir. Is it visible now? Screen, my screen.
Yeah. The screen is visible.
So, my topic is predictive modeling on student performance. Actually, it is a machine learning model that we need to apply on a given data set that is named student performance data set. So, what is this project all about? What we want to achieve by this project? Actually, we are given a data set on student performance, and we need to predict student score based on some parameters that we will give input to our model, and then the model will give us the results. If it is correct or not, it will just predict average scores. So how we will achieve this goal? So we have some 7 steps to achieve this goal. First of all, we need to import our data set. Then we will reprocess it and understand it. And for understanding it, I have done data analysis that I will show you later. Classify the features and labels. After data analysis, we will know which columns in data set would be our input and what is our output. What column do we need for our output? And then we will split the data into training and testing data, and we will train some model then and compare the accuracy. After comparing their accuracy, we will get to know which model is the best model. So that's how it works. And let's see the data set head. I have imported the data, and we can say there are 8 columns: gender, race, parent education, lunch, course, math, reading and writing. Based on all these 7 columns, we need to predict this math score. But how we will know that which columns are important for input? So for that, let's understand the data first. So we have this gender column, race column, parent education column, lunch column, course, and reading and writing column. So to determine the features, we will just visualize the data. So first, it is gender percentage. In our data set, we are given 51.8% of females and 48.2% of males. And there are 5 groups total, that is in race column, and the students are shown in this bar plot. Number of students are on y-axis, and we have groups on our x-axis. So we can see there are highest number of students in group C. And here is the parent education. Parents can have 6 type of education: some college, associate degree, high school, some high school, bachelor's degree, master's degree. You will see later if it have any effect on math score of students.
And then we see students who took preparation courses. There are more than 600 students who took preparation courses and less than 400 students. Oh, sorry. There are 600 students who didn't took any course, and there are less than 400 students who have taken the course and completed it. And after seeing this, we can see these are the math distribution score. The highest scoring average is between 60 to 70. The most of students have scored between 60 to 70. And that's our histogram of math score distribution. How is math score dependent on other variables? So we will see effect of course on math score and effect of parent education on math score, effect of lunch time they are getting, and effect of gender on math score. I am not comparing all the columns for it because that is not our task. I am just giving you a basic understanding of data. So what is the effect of score course? So students who took the course have scored more than the students who didn't take the course. The average score for students who have completed the course is 69.69. And similarly, we can see who haven't taken any course in average score 64.07. So definitely it is effective. We can like understand this by common sense. Those who took course will perform better. And the effect of parent education. If parent is educated, definitely the child will like have more chances to score better. I'm not saying that if parent is not educated, then child cannot score well. But we can see here that in this data, the kids with their parent having bachelor degree and master degree perform better than others. And the effect of lunch time on the math score. Those who got standard lunch in their academy or in their schools have performed better than those who got free or reduced lunch. So effect of gender, does gender have an effect on math score? Yes, male has scored significantly well than the females in math. So what will be the features? After analyzing the data, we can see all of these can affect the math score. If we are taking reading and writing score in features, because that can give us a better idea to predict math score. Because our machine learning model can't predict the scores on the basis of this, but we can predict it will help us more if we take these inputs. So what will be our next step? So first of all, we will split our data into training and testing data, and then we will train our data, train our models, and based on this model, we will check the accuracy. Accuracy will be checked by using testing data, because in testing data, we also have the scores, and if the scores are like matching with the original data, then definitely the accuracy will be high. And which will be the machine learning models that we will train? These are linear regression, random forest, and logistic regression. And these are the scores of linear regression. We got an 88.38% accuracy. I have trained this linear model and then fitted the training data, X train and Y train, and then printed this coefficient of accuracy. Accuracy is, you can see, is predicted based on testing data, X test and Y test. And here is our accuracy, 88.38%. And next is random forest. Random forest had a accuracy of 84.89%. And in the last, logistic regression have an accuracy of 67.83%. It didn't perform well. So conclusion, linear regression have the highest accuracy among the three models. Hence logistic, sorry, I have just misprinted it. Linear regression will be the best model for our prediction. If you have any questions, then you can ask me. Thank you. I can show you some demo of what have I written. This is my Python Jupyter notebook file. That was instructions for project, and I have imported some necessary modules and then loaded the data frame. this is our data frame, and I have loaded this into TF variable, and we are just reprocessing the data. So we can't understand these numerical values better, but after this, I have visualized it in the part of data visualization. These are the gender percentage, number of students in each group, and parental education, and student group preparation course, and more. After data analysis, I have trained my models. I first made the data ready because the column values were in string type. So first of all, I made them into numerical values, converted into the numerical values. Here you can see it. And then I split the data in testing and training data. Here you can see I have split the data into ratio of 80 to 20%. Here this variable 0.2 is specifying that test size should be 20%. And we have random set 42 and shuffle is equal to 2. So it will shuffle the data so that we don't get only 80% first rows and 20% last rows. And in the end, we have applied the models. And here I was getting an error. I tried to solve it, but even in the documentations, it was not perfectly resolved because in this I am getting this error because the database was too short. It was only 1000 rows, but if data would have been more than this, then this error could be solved. Thank you. If you have any questions, then you may ask me.
Anybody have any questions for Sahil? Okay, I think we have no. Okay, so Sahil, firstly, can you tell me the topic name again?
So it was student performance. It is predictive modeling actually. We are predicting the
Predictive
results.
modeling, yeah?
Predictive modeling, yes, sir. On machine learning. I am from data engineering too.
Okay, and what will be your email address that has been with Cypher?
Sahil Lohan 07, sir. SAHIN
Yeah.
LOHAN
Okay,
07
07. Okay,
at Gmail.
okay.
Yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir.
Sahil, for the review, your
Yes, sir.
information was very concise. It was everything was there. I don't think anything was missing. And for the demo, you have showed and you have summarized everything nicely. There's only one thing, you had your flow for the PPT, but your flow was getting disturbed because you could not communicate well with the people. You were trying to tell in a very simple way, but you can elaborate on things sometimes because I think it was holding you back. You have a lot of knowledge, but you were trying to summarize it in very small
Yes,
things.
sir. Yes, sir.
Anything other than that is very much okay. Yeah, it was a good presentation from your side. Do work on that communication part of it. Okay, thank you. Next we have Indira Banerjee. Yes, Indira, you can share your screen and start.
And my
Yes, yes, your slide is visible. I think there's problem with your mic. Can you speak again?
sir, can you see when my voice is clear?
Yeah, now your voice is clear, for sure.
Okay, sir. Good evening, everyone. This is Indira Banerjee. Today's topic of discussion is Caesar Cypher implementation in Java. The dimension we are going to cover are the introduction, terminology, algorithm, example, code, pros and cons. Let's start with the beginning. Introduction. Caesar Cypher is simply encryption technique. In this technique, letters are replaced by other letter or symbol. It is under the substitution technique. That's why Caesar Cypher is in the substitution technique. The earlier known and simplest method used by Julius Caesar. That's why it is called the Caesar Cypher technique. replacing each letter of the alphabet with the letter standing fixed number of position down to the alphabet. Here we can see the list of the alphabet, and each alphabet is assigned with a number starting from 0. Here A is starting with the number 0, B is assigned with the number 1, C is assigned with the number 2, and so on. The terminology we are going to cover are the encryption, description, plain text, ciphertext, and shift. Encryption. It is a process of encoding a message using an encryption algorithm. Description is a process of converting an encryption message to its original form. Plain text, the message which needs to get the end user might or might not be completed. Caesar cipher, the text that results after the encryption algorithm is applied in the plain text number. Shift is the number between the 0 and 25. Before going to the code, let's see what is the algorithm of Caesar cipher. The algorithm of Caesar cipher is very simple. For each plaintext letter P, substitute the ciphertext letter C. Here, C is going to be the encryption output. Here, encryption is just adding the two number plaintext and the key information. And after that, this is mod of 26. Here we use mod 26 because it is just similar to the English language. And there is only 26 alphabet. That's why we use mod 26. Plaintext is going to be the output of the description method. Description is just opposite to the encryption method. Let's see an example. Here the question is encrypt the Indira using Caesar cipher technique with shift 3. Here we use the two approach. The first row is telling us the plaintext value and the second row is going to be the ciphertext value. From the previous side, we can know the plaintext value of I is going to be the 8. That's why in this example, we use the plaintext value of I is 8 and the key is given in the question is 3. That's why we use 3. 8 plus 3 become 11. 11 mod 26 becomes 11. And from the previous slide, we can see the L 11 become the L. That's why I is replaced by L. In this formula, N is replaced by Q, D is replaced by G, and so on. Here is the code of this formula. First, this is the code of the formula.
Indira, you can explain the code a little to everyone.
Yes, sir. Just a minute. First, we import the java.util scanner. Then we create a class and we made the class public that anyone can access them. And after that, we use the string in bold result and a new string bold. And after that, we use a for loop for checking the number and from where we are checking. Then we use the formula for encoding the encryption to the plain text to ciphertext and ciphertext to plain text. If I run my program, then it's the output is enter a string for the encryption using the Caesar cipher. Here we use a string. This is my string, and it's but enter the value by which the character of the printed message gets shifted. We get this 3, and this is the encryption data, and this is the description data. What I get from the encryption message. Here is the pros and cons. The pros of Caesar cipher is easy to implement, can be physically implemented. The cons is the encryption and description algorithm are known, and there are only 25 keywords to try. Conclusion. Seizure cipher is an encryption method that shifts the letter of a message by constant offset of the producing encryption message. Encryption is a process of encoding a message using an encryption algorithm. Decryption is a process of converting an encrypted message to its original form. A seizure cipher is a method that is used for the message encryption for various purposes. This is the reference which I used for this PPT. If there are any question, you can ask. Hello, sir.
Yes, yes, yes. So, Indira, your flow was very nice. I've liked your flow among all the other presentations that have happened to me. But there was this one thing. Your information could be more, you say, it could be elaborated a little more. It was there because you did not use many examples. That's what I'm telling. You could have used some examples, one or two more, which you could have made a good picture in everyone's mind. Okay, this is happening. Okay, if I use Caesar cycle like this. You have your demo, I understand. And rather than that, your communications were good. I don't have any other query with any of it. Just your examples were not there. So I thought that you were missing some marks on that.
Sir, actually, I take the example here. I take the example of Indira.
Yes, yes, yes.
This is the example.
Yeah, this
of
one
seizure.
example was there. Yeah,
Yes, sir,
I'm
there
saying,
is
yeah.
only one example.
Yeah, so multiple examples will make things clear for everyone. That's all. Okay, so your presentation is done. It was good overall. You could have improved. See you in your next presentation. Okay, thank you. Next, we have Yash Kanawade. Yash Kanawade.
Yes, kanawade. Yes, sir.
Yes,
I am.
yes, yes. Please turn your mic on camera.
Am I audible and visible?
Yeah, yeah. Share your
Just a
screen.
second. I will share my screen. Akash, can you confirm is my PPT visible?
Yeah, it is visible.
So yeah, I will start over then.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. Myself, Yash Kanawade. I'm currently pursuing my BTech from VIIT College, Pune. And today's my topic for presentation is control structures and loops. So first one, taking the introduction about what exactly are control structures. So basically these control statements execute the associate piece of code only if the condition is true. The condition statements included in the JavaScript code assist with decision making based on the certain conditions. So that conditions we will look forward into the next slides. Then next one is there are basically 4 types of condition statements in JavaScript. First one is if statement, second one is else statement, third one is else if, and fourth one is switch case statement. If statement executes a specific code segment if the given statement is true. Whenever the condition is true, it will execute. Then second is else statement. Whenever the code associated with the else if the given condition is false. So basically, if condition is not true, then the else condition will be executed. Then third one is else if. So it basically specifies a new condition for testing when the if condition is false, that we will see in the next slide. And a switch statement specifies multiple alternative code blocks for execution and executes these cases based on the certain conditions. So first one is if statement. So here we can see with an example that we have taken a variable of type var that is age equal to 19. So if condition the condition is age greater than 18. So as 19 is greater than 18, therefore it is true condition, and it will print congratulations, you are eligible to the drive. One of the main thing is if we do not provide the curly braces, like as we can see in the above example, we haven't provided the curly braces, then it will only consider the first line, that is the immediate statement that is inside the block. Else if we we provide curly braces, then it can have multiple statements as well. Then next one is if else statement. uh, Here example is we have taken where that is I equal to 10 and I as is not is less than 15. So first condition will execute, that is I is less than 15. But if it was greater than 15, then else statement would have executed, that is I am not in if. So next one is else if statement. So here basically we can have multiple conditions in order to check whether it is true or whether it is matching or not. So here we have taken I where of type where I equals to 20. So it is not equal if condition is not true, then else if also first is not true, that is it is equals to 15. But the third condition, that is it is equals to 20 is true, therefore it prints on the console, that is I is 20. Then next one is switch case statements. So basically this is the syntax for switch case statement. First one, like there is a keyword switch, and inside the brackets where there is an expression, and after evaluating that expression, we will get the number or any particular result, and that result whichever it matches with any case, it will throw that case value, the case statement. So basically it uses the strict comparison. It will only and only execute if exactly any case matches. And there are two basic components here, like there for keywords, that is break and default. First one, break. Whenever any condition is any case is executed, then if we have used break as a keyword, so it will break the code from that particular statement. And if no case is matching for the expression that has been evaluated, so default case will be printed onto the console. Next one is the loops in JavaScript. Basically, loops are used to perform repetitive tasks based on the conditions, and that conditions are typically returning true or false. And a loop will continue running until the defined condition returns false. So we will see the examples. So first one is for loop. So basically the syntax of for loop is like for and initialization condition, testing condition, increment or decrement, and inside curly braces we have statement. So below is an example. First of all, we have taken a variable of type var x, and inside for we have taken x equals to 2. X is less than or equals to 4, and x plus plus. So the x equals to 2 is initialization condition, x is lesser or equals to is a testing condition, and x plus plus is an increment condition. So here we can like tell it will print from x equal to 2, 3, and 4, because it is lesser or equal to 4. So it is the output given below. Now there are two variations of for loop, that is for off and for in loop. So basically taking first example, we have an array of type const that there are three names, Fred, Tom, and Bob. So here we have taken a late for that is late I of array. So basically here it iterates to the value of the object. So basically it will directly take the value of the it will directly take the values from the array, and it will print as Fred, Tom, and Bob while iterating. Second one is it's an example of an object that is const capitals, and it will A equals to Athens, B equals to Belgrade, and C equals to Cairo. So here we can see the syntax: let key in capitals inside for loop. Here like we can print the key as well as the object and the key. So basically in this format, by using for in, we can print Athens, Belgrade, and Cairo. Next one is while loop. So basically here, firstly we have initialize let I equals to 1, and we have taken while. Inside that we have taken a condition, that is I should be less than 10, and we will print all the i's that are fulfilling the conditions, and therefore it will print from 1 to 9 as I is less than 10, and but I value will be equal to 10, but it will not print as it will not satisfy the next condition. So next one is do while loop. It is similar to the while loop, but only difference between while and do while loop is before checking first initial condition, first whatever I will be inside the do while loop, it will get executed. Either it will be true, or it might be true, or it might be false. So here we can see this is the syntax, and it will print from 1 to 9 on the condition that is I is less than 10. Next one is conclusion. So basically I have learned about various core concepts of control statement structures and syntaxes of JavaScript, and when to use them appropriately. And also I got to know about various application and features of using JavaScript. These are the references. And thank you. And before taking queries, I would like to share my demo. So Akash, can you tell me if my demo is visible?
Yeah. Dice roll simulator.
Yeah. So basically, this is a dice roll simulator. Now we will see how it works. So first we will roll the dice. So we can see here, roll 1, that is 2. So again we will roll the dice. Then this is roll 2, that is 1. Like in this fashion, we will create a log of dices that will happen through the dice roll simulator, and we will see how these control statements we have used. Now I would like to show the code. So basically, this is the code for the dice roll simulator. There are majorly 3 functions used, that is roll dice, then update roll history, and get dice phase. So first one is roll dice. So basically by using a mathematical function that is predefined inside the JavaScript.
You
Yes.
don't have to explain the whole code. It's fine if you just say the functionality from the top instead of going into the code.
Yeah, I am just showing that only, that here like we have used first of all we have taken a history list for storing the values of the dices that we are going to roll, and this is the for loop through which we will be considering the history which we will keep of the dice roll, that is roll 1, roll 2, roll 3, and these are the switch statements by which we will get to know like which are the faces, like each code is given to the faces, and through which if it matches to them, and it will get pushed into the array of history list. So yeah, that's it from my side. So if anyone has any queries, they can ask me.
Yeah, you can ask your queries to Yash.
Just a minute.
Okay, I don't think anyone has any queries. Okay, Yash, so can you first let me know your email ID?
My email ID yash.digitalworld25
Did you
@gmail.com.
schedule the presentation today?
Yes.
Today itself
It
you
was
scheduled?
it was not today. It was 2. Hello, am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was 2 days before. It was scheduled 2 days before, but I guess like on the first day, there was too much people, so I didn't got the chance.
Yeah,
And
it's fine.
yesterday it was
Just give me the Yash.digital
world
1
World, WORLD, world 25
Okay.
@
Okay.
gmail.com.
Okay. Okay, Yash, you were fine with the overall flow of the presentation. You can improve a little bit over there. And at the start of the presentation, I know you have a topic of explanation and you have read well the topic. You have also showed us the demo of how you have done it, how you have read well, how much implementation you can do. But at the start of any presentation, please try to get a hook of the audience by sharing an example or a story. Let it be any story you fabricated out of your own mind. It's fine. So it will connect the audience with the presentation that you're about to give.
Okay.
Okay. Everything else was fine. No worries with that. I'll look forward for your next presentation. Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much. I will take that into consideration. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Next we have Devendra Dashlaniya.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Can I share my screen?
Yeah, you can share your screen. Please do turn your mic and camera on.
Okay. So my screen are visual.
It's not visible now. Even though it has started sharing, it is not visible. Try it again once. Okay, now it is visible.
Visible?
Yes, now it is.
Okay.
Yeah, you can start.
So, sir, my topic is a CJ Cypher implementation in a Java. And
Devendra, please do turn your camera on.
okay, sorry, sir.
Yeah.
It says visible.
No, your video is still not visible.
Visible.
One second. Yeah, now it is visible. Okay.
Okay. Good evening, sir. My name is Devendra Dashlaniya from Java Developer Group. My
Okay,
task is a CJ Cypher implementation in a Java. So let's start. My content is a introduction, working example, and a code. So CJ, what is a CJ Cypher is a encryption, simplest encryption technique. This is a shift the element and character to the next and next place, uh, and so on. And this is a easiest and simplest method and substitution the this is later replaced by the fixed number of the position in the down and up alphabet. So then move on the next slide. This is working. The CJ Cypher is a simplest encryption technique that is working in the replacing the character and an element in the next step and the and more than a random places. This is the idea behind of the CJ Cypher. CJ Cypher is a very simple. Each letter is a message by shifted and fixed number of the position down the alphabet. Then move on the next slide. So I can show the example. Here we can shift the element in the third place uh, of the alphabet characters. Uh, I can show the example. If can enter the message in the heck Veda, then the this element are shifted in the third position. That A shifted in the K places and A shifted in the D places and so on. And then and then uh, so this is my flow diagram. Then A D replaced by the A position, and the E replaced by the B position, and then F is replaced by the C position. This is a method is a continuous session, and so on. And then my code is a, and let's show my demonstration on the project. So so my NetBeans screen are visible.
Yes, screen is visible.
Okay. Sir, I can import the scanner package, so I can input the user strings and then print the uh, Cypher values. So I can firstly user input string. So enter the string the user in the, and then check the length. What is the length of the user enter the value. This is a if condition. This is a not less than a value of the 2 and not greater than the value of 100. So and the and the the and this is a condition is a false, then it is a printed the this is a invalid string, and also system this is a, and I can use the function other function string Cypher function. This is this Cypher function is a get a string value, and then string f, it is a stored my Cypher value, and the character ch is the character cs, and then I check the value is a character in the project, and then I use the for loop, and then check the condition is a I is equal to the 0, and then check the length I s dot length, then user is enter the value and check the length, and this is a print the value Cypher values, and then increment the strings
Okay,
value in
Devendra,
the plus
you
plus.
don't have to explain the whole code, okay? You just
Okay.
get over it fast. You can just tell me the main functionality over instead of
Oh.
getting out.
Okay, sorry, sir. Sir, I can get an input user input in the user input in a s string, then check the length. What should be user enter this input, and then check the condition if uh, if I is the less than and equal to 2. So 2 and I is a greater than of 100, and this is a value true, then it is a mm, printed the invalid string. So and else condition I can say system dot out, and then user input I can printed the string value. So firstly enter the user string, then I show the again the input, and then system and then user, and show the Cypher value of the user in this my function object dot Cypher function, and that this is a Cypher function is that Cypher string dot string is a Cypher function. This is a get the value of the string s, and then I use the for loop. So this is a check the condition I is the equal to 0, and then I is the length of a user enter, and then print the Cypher text on the user enter the length, and then increment the value, and then character value. It is a check the value is a character, and then if the it is a character value, and then increment by the third position, and then if if the check the is a and if the check is a uppercase value and small case value, and then print enter the user same as the value, then else condition ch, then character I can check, I can store my character, I can store my uh, a a a integer in the c string of the ch variable, and then my uh, and this value are stored in a f function, so f plus an h. So this is a plus value, and the so this is a cycle value. This is not given of the h, uh, given of the z to uppercase, and then return the value is a it is a circular method, and then I return the f, and f return, and this, and then print the value of the of this system, and then user I am show the value of the user in the ciphertext. I run my project, so I can enter the my value. This is a hack.
Devendra, are you trying to show your demo?
So this is visible.
Only your PPT is visible in front of the screen right now.
Okay, sorry. Sorry.
Yeah, you can just share the
Okay.
screen where you're-
Now this is visible.
now this is visible. Okay, you can start the demo. Try to be fast.
Okay. I can type the hack Veda, and then print the hack Veda, and this is first element of the capital and last element of the small letter. Then I can use the condition of this is check the value of a uppercase and a lowercase. Then according to user enter the value, and then print this uh, uh, print this position. And that's all my side. And thank you.
Okay, Devendra. So you tried your best, I think. Is this one of your first presentations that you're giving
Yes, sir.
in this hack? Is this one of your first presentations that you're giving?
Okay, my code.
I'm asking you a question.
Okay, I saw my code.
No, I'm asking, is this the first time you're showing your presentation in front of our data?
No, sir, this is my second time.
Okay. As far as the presentation, you were missing the flow of the presentation. Your slides could be more informative. Slides are there, but the amount of information there is in a slide is less. So it could be more informative. At the same time, while starting the whole presentation, you could have implemented a hook or a story which could get people interested in what you're about to say. So just a suggestion for you. And else, rather than that, you could have wasted a little less time on explaining the code. I know that you have done your code and you have done some hard work, you want to show it. But because there's less amount of time and there's a lot of people that needs to be presented today, you can just explain your functionalities on the next time. What is the main functionality? This is the main functionality. Over this, you can do this. That's fine. That will
Okay,
do. Okay.
okay.
Thank you, Devendra.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Next, we have Shlok Verma.
Am I audible?
You're audible.
Is my screen visible?
Yeah, your screen is visible as well. You can start.
Okay. So, hello everyone. Welcome to the presentation. My name is Shlok Verma and I am from Preparatory Jabalpur. So, my presentation topic is control structure in JavaScript. So, in this presentation, we will cover the basics of loops, conditional statements, and switch statements and know how they are used in programming. So, let's start. So, what is control structure? So, firstly, we will see the control structure is a programming construct that allows developers to control the flow of code execution based on specific conditions. They are essential for creating complex programs that perform specific actions based on the user input from other factors. And there are three main control structures in JavaScript: loops, conditional statements, and switch cases. And we can easily write the efficient code. Let's understand these statements one by one. So first one is loops. So loops are used to execute a block of code rapidly until a specific condition is met. And there are three type of loops in the JavaScript: for loop, while loop, and do while loop. It is used when the number of iteration is known in advance, while do while loop assured when the number of iteration is not known in the advance. So here is an example. We have an array. So if we want to print all the elements of an array, we have to perform the iteration. So it will be printed all the elements one by one. So we have used the for loop, and with the help of for loop, we can easily print the elements of an array. So now we will see the conditional statement. So conditional statement are used to make decisions based on specific conditions. The most commonly used conditional statement in JavaScript are if-else statement. These statements are used to execute different blocks of code depending on whether a condition is true or false. So let's understand with the example. So here is a variable called number and value is 5, and we applied the condition if a number is greater than 0 or less than 0. So if number is greater than 0, it will be printed it will be print positive, and if a number is less than 0, it will print negative. So now the last one is switch case. So if there are multiple conditions to be checked and we don't want to write if else condition again and again, and we use switch condition statements if it is used to evaluate an expression and execute different block of code depending on the value of the expression, and handle user input, perform calculations, and implement code control flow. So here is an example. We want to check the day, so we'll use the switch case. We have a variable day, value is the Monday, and we have created some conditions for the Monday, Tuesday default. So if a condition is matched, then we will get our output, that is a Monday. So conclusion, in the conclusion in this presentation, we have seen the concepts of loops, conditional statements, switch cases, and their applications. With the example, we have seen the importance of these concepts. By understanding these concepts, we can write the efficient code to perform our task. So I am done with my presentation. If anyone any questions when asked, and I can show the my demo. So I created a digital clock, and there is a code. So there is a HTML code. I have created a container. Then I've created a span according to my requirement or as a string, and there is a index.js code, JavaScript code. I have created a function display time, and then I've applied some conditions, and based on that condition, we will get the results as we can show. So thank you. I'm done with the presentation.
Okay, sure. That was a good presentation. It was very precise and concise. You did
Yes.
not go here and there. You were
Yes.
strict to the topic. The flow was good. You had some examples.
Yes.
There was you. I don't think there was much to explain in constructors, any which way. So it was fine.
Yes.
At the same time, the demo was. You could have elaborated a little bit in the demo. So
Okay.
you might have heard me saying that don't elaborate much, but a little elaboration is still needed for
Okay.
it. Okay, that is all. The presentation was very good. You can
Thank you.
continue
Thank
with
you.
your. Thank you. Next, we have Shreya Rakshit.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Shreya. You can start your
Let me
screen share.
share my screen. Good evening to all. Myself Shreya Rakshit from IITSM Dhanbad. This is my task number 2 and I'll be presenting today control structures in JavaScript. So let's begin with a brief introduction of JavaScript. JavaScript is basically a very essential part of any responsive and interactive website. JavaScript is a lightweight, cross-platform, and interpreted compiled programming language, which is also known as the scripting language for web pages. It was first created in 1995 by Brendan Eich while he was an engineer at Netscape. JavaScript can be used for client-side development such as React.js, AngularJS, etc., as well as for server-side development such as Node.js. JavaScript contains a standard library of objects like array, date, math, and it contains a core set of language elements like operators, control structures, and statements. Today in this presentation, we will discuss in detail about control structures. So move forward towards control structures. Control structures is basically used to control which statement is to be executed. In JavaScript, we mainly use two kinds of control structures. The first is if, else, and else if. The second one is switch statement. So start with if, else, and else if. If is used to specify a block of code to be executed if a specific condition is met. This condition will be checked first. If this is true, then this block of code will be executed. Otherwise, it will not. Else is very much related with the if statement. So if the condition mentioned in if statement is false, then the else block of code will be executed. The one more important thing is else if. Else if is used to specify a new condition if the first condition is false. Like it will check the condition 1 first. If it is true, then this block of code will be executed. If this is not true, then condition 2 will be checked. If condition 2 will come as true, then this block of code will be executed. And if both of them are false, then the else block will be executed. We can better understand this concept by this example. We have initialized the variable age by 15, and the condition was used here is age less than 10, and condition 2 is age less than 18. As the condition 1 is false, the condition 2 will be checked and it is true. So we will get the output as you are a teenager, and we are getting the same. The next control structure is switch statement. Switch statement is used to select a block of code among various blocks of code to be executed depending on the value of a given expression. So at first, at the initial stage, the expression will be evaluated, and after that, this will be matched with the cases. And if the program finds the strict match, means the match in data type and also in the value, then the respective code block will be executed. Here, this break statement is a very important thing. if our program get this break statement, it will come. The program will come out of the switch block and run the further statements. If also if we don't find a match, then the default code block will be executed. Sometimes multiple switch cases also may share the same code block. In this case, we need to first list the cases, and after that, we need to mention the code block. We can see the example here. We have used the same variable age is equal to 15, and the expression in this switch statement is age itself. So the value will be evaluated first, that is 15 in this case. After that, it will be matched with the cases. The first case is 10. It is not matching. So the second case will be checked. Yes, we are getting the match here. So we will be getting the output as you are 15. Let's move forward towards loops. Loops are basically used to handle the repetitive tasks. If we get if we want to execute a block of code multiple times, then it will be a cumbersome task to write them again and again. So in this case, we will prefer to use the loop concept. In JavaScript, we are using these loops: for loop, for in loop, for of loop, while loop, and do while loop. The first loop is for loop. For loop creates loops through a block of code a number of times. So the question is how many times it will iterate through this code block. So this depends on these three expressions: expression 1, expression 2, and expression 3. Expression 1 is used to initialize the variables that will be used in this loop. We can also omit this part if this is not required. And the expression 2 isn't a expression. If this returns a true value, then it will continue, it will keep running. And if this returns a false value, then the for loop will stop. And the third one is expression 3. Expression 3 is used to increment the value of the initial variable after running through the loop each time. This is also optional. So we can see this example here. Here, the expression 1 is I is equal to 0. We are initializing the variable I through with the value 0. And the condition used here is I less than 10. In case we are getting I greater than or equal to 10, then the for loop will stop. And the third statement used here is I plus plus, that will increment the value of I by 1. And we are getting the desired result also, that is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. After that, it will become 10, and the for loop will stop. The next loop is for in loop. In JavaScript, for in statement loops through the properties of an object or the properties of an array. This is the syntax we'll be using for implementing this loop. So what does it mean by properties? Let understand this with this example. We are using here an object me, and the properties used here are fname, lname, and age. So X will take the values fname, lname, and age, not the values Shreya, Rakshit, and 21. So if we use the for in loop, then we used to use this syntax me, then in triple bracket X to get the values. X will take the properties. And in case of arrays, we are using a for in loop, and X will take the indexes like 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And so we need to use this syntax for getting the values of that index. One important thing, it should not be used if the index order is important. In this case, we may prefer the for loop or for of loop or the array.forEach loop. So let's start for of loop. Just JavaScript for of statement loops through the values of an iterable object. It is used to loop over iterable data structures such as arrays, strings, maps, node lists, and more. The syntax is given below. Variables of iterables for variables of iterables, then the code block to be executed. So to understand this concept, we need to first understand two terminology. The first one is iterable and the second one is variable. Iterable is an object that has iterable properties. Like we may consider an array. We have multiple elements. So array is an iterable object. A string is also an iterable object, as we may iterate the string through its characters. Now the variable. For each iteration, the value of the next property is assigned to the variable. Variables can be declared with const, late, or var. So what does it mean by value of the next property? In case of for in loop, we saw that it will take the index value 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. But in case of for of loop, it will take the values of the elements itself. So here we are not using sqr in third bracket x, but we are using the x itself, as it will represent the value. We can also see the example of string. So it will access the characters itself, not its index values. A for of loop is supported in Chrome 38, Edge 12, Firefox 51, Safari 7, Opera 25, and it is not supported in Internet Explorer. The next two loops are while loop and do while loop. The while loop loops through a block of code as long as a specified condition is true. It is much like the for loop, but in this case, the statement 1 and statement 3 we need to explicitly mention in the right place. We need to initialize the variables first, and we need to increment the variables in the code block itself. And in the syntax, we will only mention the condition. And also, if we did not update the variables, then it will be converted into an infinite loop, and that may crash the operating system. The next one is do while loop. It is a variant of the while loop. This loop executes the code block once before checking if the condition is true.
Shreya, I think internet is not working. Okay, I think her net is not working. We'll wait for her for 5 seconds, 10 seconds. If she comes back, she'll continue. If she doesn't, we'll skip her. We'll go to Nitin. Okay. Okay. So, Nitin Kumar, you can start your presentation.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Good evening to everyone. I'm Nitin Kumar. I'm doing my BTech from IIT Jabalpur, and today I'm giving my presentation on the topic of control structure in JavaScript. So we will start with introduction part. In this presentation,
Good evening, sir.
Shreya, you can continue after
I-
Nitin. Okay.
So I faced a network issue, that's why
Yeah,
it got
I
disconnected.
understand. Now
Yes, sir.
Nitin has started. You can continue after Nitin. I'll call your name.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you.
yes, sir. Can I start now?
Yeah, you can start.
Okay. So I'm Nitin Kumar. I'm doing my BTech from IIT Jabalpur College, and today I'm giving a presentation on the topic of control structure in JavaScript. So we will start with the introduction. In this presentation, I will show the fundamentals of JavaScript that are used in the control structure. And we will see how these concepts are used in JavaScript programming to make the code effective and reliable. So first of all, we'll start what is control structure.
Nitin, your screen has not been shared.
Okay, sir. Okay. I think. Okay, sir. Is it visible now, sir?
Yeah, now it's visible. You can start.
Okay, sir. So we'll start with the introduction. In this presentation, we will go through the fundamentals of JavaScript ideas and the JavaScript control structure and how they are used in the programming to make the code effective and reliable. So first of all, we will see what is JavaScript control structure. So it is used to control the flow of program based on the specified conditions. So these are control structure that are used in programming, so that if certain condition is true, then that block of code will run and the code can be effective and reliable. So there are different type of control structure in JavaScript. These are if else switch cases, while loop, and for loop. So we will start with conditional statement. So these are used to perform different action based on different condition. If we will see, we'll start with if condition. If a particular block if some condition is true in this block, then that block of code will be run. And you can see in the example, if salary is greater than 50,000, then this block of code will run. And this is how if condition is true. And there is another conditional statement is else, which is also used in the loop. If this if condition is false, then else condition will be run and that particular block of code will be run. You can see in the example, if salary is not greater than 50K, then this block of code will be run and mood will be assigned as sad. Apart from this, if there are multiple conditions that are present in the code, then we can use else if also. In this example, if time is less than 10, then greeting will be assigned as good morning. And if it's greater than 15, then good afternoon. And if none of condition is true, then else part will run and greeting will be good night. So the next is switch case. So if we have many block of code and one of them is true, then we will use switch cases. In this example, you can see there are many cases, and you can see the day is 5. So this block of case will be true, and you can get an output of today is yesterday. And after this statement is true, break statement will run, and this code will end from here. And if none of the cases is true, then default condition will run and we'll get enter valid day in the output. Now there are three type of loops in JavaScript. One will start with while loop. So while loop is a condition which is used to see if that loop is correct or not. For example, in this we can see that if I is less than I, this code will run up to 5. So we can see the output will be 1 to 5. And there is another loop which is do while loop. So there is a difference between while and do while loop. In do while, first the condition is not checked. The block of code will run, and after that the condition will be checked. So this is the difference between while and do while loop. Third one is for loop. For loop is used to run the multiple conditions. So for loop will be used. So there is three things which are important in for loop. First one is loop initialization. Second is test condition, and third one is iteration. For example, we can see this is loop initializations, and this one is test conditions, and this one is iteration. Here the value of n is 10, so we'll check the condition if equal to 1 or not. It is correct, so this will run up to 10. So these are three loops that are used in JavaScript, and for loop is the best because it is very concise and one can write a whole code in just a single line and check all the conditions. So by using this concept, I built a digital clock. So this is the HTML part of the code. I have built a div clock. This is CSS part, and this one is JavaScript part. So these are the predefined function which are available in JavaScript. You can see date, and I've used hour predefined function and minutes and for second. So these are the things I've used. And for showing the AM or PM, I've used the if conditions, and I will have a digital clock like this, and this is working. You can see. And for the conclusion part, I can say these loops, conditional statement, and switch statement are very used in the JavaScript program so that a developer can build a efficient, readable, and maintainable code. And this is the reference where I've taken help to build these presentations. And thank you from my side. That's all from my presentation.
Okay, Nitin, that
Yes,
was a
sir.
good presentation. I liked your flow. Your communication was good as well.
Yes, sir.
There's this. So you were talking about different types of loops that we could do.
Yes, sir.
That is in control structure. You talked about 4 loops. You explained them well. What are the loops? What they're used for? You could have just added a differentiation diagram or a differentiation box where you could tell for which test case which loop can be used. So people will get a clearer idea. Yeah, if this case has to be done, if this test case comes up, I can use this loop. Leaving that, everything else was very good. The information was presented well. You went through it in a good flow. So it was a good presentation from your side. Just improve on that.
Yes, sir.
Improve on presenting. Okay. Thank you for
Thank
the
you,
day.
sir.
You can. Now, Shreya, you can start your presentation where you have left off. We'll finish it
Yes,
fast.
sir.
So could you please say up to which it was shown? Like
Okay.
we covered do while loop?
Yeah, we have covered do while loop. Go ahead.
Okay, sir.
I think it was on slide 17 or so. You have 23 or so
The
slides,
checking,
correct?
sir. Yes, sir.
17 has been done, 18 has been done.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I am starting from the while loop.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Sorry for the interruption. So let's continue. The next loop we will discuss is while loop. The while loop loops through a block of code as long as a specified condition is true. So this condition will be checked, and as long as this condition is true, this code block will be executed. It is much like the for loop, but the difference is the statement 1 and statement 3 we need to explicitly mention here. We need to initialize the variables beforehand before using the while loop, and we need to increment it in the code block itself as it is not done in the index part. If the variable used in the condition is not updated, then it will turn into an infinite loop, and that may crash the operating system. The next loop we'll discuss is do while loop. It is a variant of the while loop. This loop executes the code block once before checking if the condition is true. Then if it is true, then it will keep running, and if it is not, then it will stop running. So the basic difference between the while loop and the do while loop is the while loop may also run 0 times, like it may not run if the condition is false, but the do while loop must run at least 1 time. In this case also, we can see if the variable is not updated after each iteration, it may turn into an infinite loop. So we may better understand the concepts by keeping the examples of while loop and do while loop side by side. In while loop, we use the variable I is equal to 0, and this is the condition I less than 10, and we incremented the variable in the code block itself. So we will be printing the value of I until this condition is false. So we'll get the output as 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So if we initialize the variable with value 10 at the initial stage, then it will not run. It will run only 0 times. But here in this do while loop, we are initializing the variable I with values 10, and we are using the condition same also, I less than 10, but we are getting the output 10. So we can conclude that it is running 1 time. So that is the basic difference of while loop and do while loop. Let's move towards my project part. I have made a factorial calculator. I have put all my codes in a GitHub link, and I have uploaded the website on Netlify. So we'll first see the website, how it works. After that, we will see the coding part. So this is my website, factorial calculator. Here in the menu, we can see the guidelines, how to use. Here we can get the brief idea about the factorial. What is factorial? The factorial n is calculated as n into factorial n minus 1, and factorial 0 equal to 1, and factorial 1 is equal to 1. We may put any non-negative integer or expression which will return a non-negative integer in the input tab, and we may press the result button to get the result, and we may press the reset button to get back to the initial states. If we give any non-numeric input or negative number, then it will lead to invalid input. Now we may check if it is working fine or not. We are giving input as 0 and we are getting the output as 1. If we give 3, then it will give the result as 3 into 2 into 1 is equal to 6. But if we give any any negative integer like -5, it will throw an invalid input. So this is the website. We will focus on the coding part now. So this is my HTML file. Here I have used an input tag to take the input value, and we use to button answer and reset. The answer will give the result of our input factorial calculation, and the reset button will get back to the initial stage. We'll see the JavaScript file as well. As we will press the result button, the value on the input will be taken as string. Then we will try to evaluate the value of that string. If we get any error, then it will show invalid input. Otherwise, that string will be checked again. If it is less than 0, the result will show invalid input. And if it is equal to 0, the result will show 1. Otherwise, if it is greater than 0, then this while loop will be used to calculate the factorial value. And if there is any error, then it will throw invalid input. Otherwise, the required value will be shown on the input tab. And if we click on the reset tab, then it will get back to the initial stage and set value equal to null. We use for that purpose 2 variables, string and integer, and we used an event listener to identify the clicks. So that's all about my project. Yeah. So this is some of the references that I have used to make the project and the presentation. So thank you to all for giving your precious times. Now you may ask if you have any query.
Okay, Shreya, that was a very good presentation from your side. Only that you elaborated a lot in this presentation.
Yes, sir.
The topic was control structures, correct?
Yes, sir.
You could have taken less time, and you could have summarized the whole thing into less slides. So it did not need 23 slides to be explained.
Okay, sir.
Other than that, you were excellent in everything. Just try to summarize, just try to give it some time by summarizing things, so
Okay,
that it will help you, and by explaining things in a lesser time, people will
Okay,
have
sir.
time to understand. Correct?
Okay, sir.
Yeah, for sure. Next we'll have, thank you, Shreya. You can close your mic and video. Next we have Arpita Zo. Sorry. Arpita Zo is not there. Raju Jakkani. We have Raju Jakkani next.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Raju.
Am I audible and visible?
Yeah, you're both audible and visible.
Actually, my topic is the control structures of JavaScript. But I got the wrong mail for scheduling. So yes, I said to me give the presentation. I will do the corrections in that.
Okay, you can start with the presentation. Give me the topic name. I will see to it.
Is my screen visible, sir?
It is not visible yet, but it will be, I think. Yeah, now it is visible. Okay, so the task and control structure.
Should I start?
Yeah, you can start.
Good evening, everyone. Myself, Raju Jakkani. I'm from the web developer group, and I'm currently studying BTech on computer science. I'm third year. Today, my topic is control structures in JavaScript. Before going to the control structures, we will understand what is JavaScript. JavaScript is a high-level interpreter programming language which is commonly used in and interactive and dynamic functionalities to website. It is a client-side scripting language which is used in the browser itself rather than on the server. It is JavaScript is known as it's a versatile and can be used in certain website and wide variety of applications, including games, websites, mobile apps, even desktop application, and etc. JavaScript code is typically embedded with the HTML pages and can interact with other web technologies such as CSS, HTML5, PHP, etc. Now I'm going to start up the I'm going to talk about the control structures in JavaScript. First of all, there are three main types of control structures in JavaScript: conditional statements, loops, and functions. And now I'm starting with the conditional statements. Conditional statements are used to perform different actions based on different conditions. The most common type of conditional statement is JavaScript is if-else statement. In JavaScript, we have the following condition statements. We use if-else condition statement such that if any condition is true, then we will execute the block of code. The condition is false, we do not execute the code. We can use else to specify a block of code if the condition is false, or we can use only the if statement for the condition. Here is the syntax of the if else conditional statements. Sorry. Here is an example. If first we use the if and we give the condition as if the time is smaller than 10. If it is 10 a.m. we execute the code as good morning, else we use the good evening or good day. The next I will start with the loops. Loops are used to repeat a block of code multiple times. There are three main types of loops in JavaScript: the for loop, while loop, and the do while loop. The for loop. The for statement creates a loop with three optional expressions. First, we use for and give the expression 1, 2, and 3. Then later we execute the code according to that expressions. For example, here for let I equals to 0, I is smaller than 5, and I is plus plus. First, we initialize the value of I in expression 1. Later, we give the condition as I is smaller than 5. Then we increment it in for loop, such that if I equals to 0, it will check the condition. If it is smaller, then it will increment and they execute the code, and it simultaneously repeat the step. Similarly, the while loop. The while loop throws a block of code as long as specified condition is true. Here we give the first we declare the variables that I equals to 0, x and y, etc. Then in while we used to give the condition, and we check the block of code. If the value of is correct, then we will execute the block of code and then increment the value. If it is true, we exit from the while loop. If it is false, we increment the value and again start the while loop. For do while loop, do while loop is a variant of the while loop. It is used to first execute the code, then increment the value, then at last it will check the condition. If the condition is true, then it will execute the loop. If the condition is false, it will again go execute the code and again increment the value till the condition is satisfied. The next is the switch case statement. Switch case statement, it is used to execute different blocks of code depending on the value of a variable. Here in the example, if here we declared a variable, let color equals to blue. If we use the switch case by giving the color and give the cases and with a default case. If the case one, like if case red is true, we will execute. Else we break it and go to the next one till we get the desired output. Here we get the desired output as blue color. We execute the code and break and get out of the switch cases. Else we will continue checking this statement till we get the desired output. We will go to next to the functions. Functions have a block of code that can be called multiple times. So here we create a function such that a plus b. For adding the numbers, we create a function and we call multiple times, as many times as we want to add the numbers. And we can change the numbers as here I have created function add numbers a comma b and return a plus b. Here in add number variables, I can give any number and call the function, then it will show the value. Now I will show my demo. Here I have created a rock paper scissors game by using the functional loops. First of all, I will show my JavaScript code. Here I have created a variables by declaring a variables, and I created a function const game, and I have used the if else condition statements such that it will execute clearly. And I have called the function here, which I declared here. Now we will going to check the code. Here we can see if we choose the stone, it will show the wheel. Scissor, as it will, I'm going to play with the computer, so it will. I have created a random one, such that computer can get the random one as we choose the any options. Here is my GitHub link, and here are my references. Is my screen visible, sir?
Yeah, it is visible.
Here are the references from which I have took the informations and etc. If anyone have any questions, then they are free to ask. Thank you for listening, sir.
Okay, Raju, the presentation was good. You could have improved on the explanation part as well. In the sense, there was a lot of content that needed to be explained. You did explain it well, but the communication gap was there. You were explaining, but you were a little too fast in explaining. You can just slow down and you can explain, then people will be able to understand. Other than that, everything was fine. You had a good presentation. Okay. Thank you, Raju. We'll go with the next candidate now. So the next candidate is Arpita Zope.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you can start your screen.
Good evening, sir. I'm Arpita Zope from DevOps Group. Today I'm presenting on the task set up a DevOps environment. The project name is Project Build and Deploy the DevOps Pipelines. The content for the presentation is we will look into the DevOps environment, the steps we need to set up the DevOps environment, what is virtual machine, about AWS CC2. We will see what is version control, about the installation of Git, Jenkins installation, and about Docker containerization and inbound rules. So about DevOps environment, the DevOps environment is the DevOps is nothing about the only about the tool, but it is about the deployment of the application on the cloud, about the DevOps tools, and the combination of all of this. The DevOps combine the development and operational teams, where the development team works on the development of the application and the coding part, and the operational team will work on the testing and the deployment part. In DevOps environment, we have three main parts. The first is infrastructure. The infrastructure is the most important part in the DevOps environment. It defines where the application will run, and it defines the specific configuration for the application. The second is the configuration. The configuration dictates both how the application behaves in the given environment and how the infrastructure will react with the application. The third part is about the dependencies. For any application, we require some dependencies. The dependencies may be some application. Dependencies are the application which we need to run that we run application. The steps to set up the DevOps environment are: first, we need to choose a cloud platform and set up an account. The second is to create a virtual machine using cloud platform. We can select any cloud platform like AWS and GCP. In third step, we use Git for the version control of the web application. Then we need to install Jenkins to automate the build and deployment process. In fifth step, we need to install Docker for containerization of our web application. And in last stage, we need to configure our virtual machine. About virtual machine, a virtual machine is a compute resources that use software instead of the physical computer to run the programs and deploy the apps. The advantages of virtual machine are we can run multiple virtual machine on a single PC. The virtual machine support the legacy application and reducing the cost of migrating to a new operating system. Virtual machine also provide integrated disaster recovery and application provisioning options. On our system, we need to install the hypervisor. Over hypervisor, we can run more than one virtual machine. But there are some disadvantages of virtual machine. It takes the memory. So we have the advanced form of virtual machine. It is known as containerization. About AWS CC2. AWS CC2 is a virtual machine on the Amazon cloud platform. I have used the AWS CC2 in my task. So these are the screenshots of my implementation part. About version control. Version control is the process of tracking and managing the changes in the code. We have multiple developers working on the same project. So using version control system, we can retrieve any version of that code at any point of time. Version control is also known as the source control. Git, we use Git for the version control. Git is a distributed version control system used to save the different versions of the file so that any version is retrievable at will. There are some simple steps to install the Git. We need to download the Git. then git bash interface will appear. We need to run some basic git command, and we need to create the local repository. Then we need to connect to the remote repository and push the file to the GitHub. These are the GitHub commands which we need to run while installing the Git. The Jenkins is an automation tool used in the build and deployment of the application. It is an open source automation server. Jenkins is used in continuous integration and delivery, which is the part of the DevOps. And Jenkins automate the parts of software development. Jenkins is the DevOps tool which is written in the Java programming language. There are some simple steps to install the Jenkins. After downloading Jenkins, this interface will appear. Then we need to click the next, and then we need to select the destination folder in C drive and program files. Then we need to do the port selection. We will select the port 8080, and we need to select the Java home directory. Then we can install the Jenkins. About Docker, as we have seen about the virtual machine, Docker container is the advanced form of the virtual machine. As there are some disadvantages of the virtual machine about the memory, the Docker overcome that, and like we have seen, there are some dependencies to run any application. In Docker container, with the application code, we can share that dependencies with the tester or tester. So before Docker, we have some problems about the code, like the developer have written the code. It work absolutely fine on their system, but it will not work for the tester because of that dependencies. After Docker, this problem is solved. And about configuring the virtual machine, we need to edit some inbound rules. We will add some custom TCP rules, and we will select the port range of 8000. This is about my implementation part. Thank you.
Arpita, it was a good presentation overall. You explained everything well. The information was not too much, not too less. It was just as it is, just as needed. So the presentation was very good from your side. Just keep doing like this. Okay. Thank you today. Now we'll have Abhay Shaw. Abhay Shaw, you can start your presentation.
So am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
Is my screen visible?
Yeah, it's visible.
So myself, Abhay Shaw, I am from DevOps group. So today I'll be talking about a simple setup for DevOps environment to host a simple web application, the To-Do app, which is made on Node.js. So let's get started with it. So the prerequisites, firstly, we should have a GitHub account and a source code of a simple web application on your GitHub repository. And secondly, a machine with an internet connection like a laptop, and lastly, a AWS account. These are the prerequisites you need to have it. And moving on to the concept of setting up a DevOps environment, like if a client gives a source means the client gives his requirement to the software company, so the developer teams develops according to the requirements of a company, like what to develop or what software need to go into production. So the developer teams code and put that into a GitHub repository. So here the software developer role is finished, like the continuous integration of putting that patch version control softwares patches of codes into GitHub, that's complete. So from there and till the hosting the website on internet, live on internet, is the role of a DevOps engineer. Like it will take the code from the GitHub repository, and it will automatically push that into a cloud where our virtual machines, like we are using EC2 services to develop a virtual machine on cloud, that is AWS EC2. So Jenkins play a delivery boy role, like it will take the code from the restaurant and it will deliver into your doorstep like that. Jenkins is a tool which delivers the code automatically to your EC2 instances, and Docker basically does the packaging of your code without letting out some dependency out of your container. It is a package that will delivered through the, it's kind of a food that will Jenkins delivery boy would deliver the code to the EC2 machine. So this is the flow of the setting up a DevOps environment. Moving on to the next. So these are the few steps. First step is to log in into a management console. And second step is to launch an EC2 instance and connect to that EC2 instance directly. And third step is to install the Java. And fourth step is to install Jenkins. That is the CI/CD tool. And then we'll need to integrate that Jenkins and GitHub with a SSH key, generating SSH key. With SSH key, install Node.js and npm, because we are making the app on the Node.js, and the npm is the manager of like the node package manager. So install Docker for containerizing the whole code, and Alpine Node.js is the image from which we will pull the image from the Docker Hub, and install GitHub integration plugins is the automatic putting the code. Firstly, I will show the manually how it is done, and I will show the automatically coding code to be transferred into the EC2 instance, and I will show the demo. Okay. Moving on to this is the first step. This will be the console where you'll need to log in into your AWS account. The second step, launching an instance. So the first image shows the running instance, like, and then we'll need to click here on this arrow, this connect button. You'll see this output of the third image. You'll appear this image will this screen will be appeared. And the next step is install Java. So there are 3 commands. First, you need to update the all packages and install Java from this 3 commands, and check whether the Java is successfully installed or not. If you can see this open JDK, then the Java is successfully installed into your instances machine, directly connected, that is. And the step 4 is to install the Jenkins, the delivery tool. So these are the commands to install the Jenkins into your system, and then sudo systemctl to start the Jenkins and see the status of the Jenkins. And always remember that the Jenkins is always hosted on the port number 8080. So always remember to give the inbound rules to your EC2 instance that it will take the 8080 port to be opened on the Jenkins. And this is on if you will type the IP of your instances with this port number 8080, you will see this first image, unlock Jenkins, and you will see there is a few directories. If we copy that directory, it is asking for the customized password. So if you copy that upward directory and paste it on that continuous terminal, it will generate a 16 digit of code. If you need to put that code and enter it, it will move on to the next window, that is the customized Jenkins. So we are all in the browser itself. We have not installed on the manually on the machine, right? So we need to install all the plugins. So we can't select plugins because we are running that into a browser. So install the plugins. It will getting started with all the plugins installation, and it will show the create first admin user page, where you need to enter the name, password, and confirm the password. Enter your full name and then email ID of yours, and it will ask the path where this file would be saved, and then the Jenkins is all ready. And if you can see the final output, this would be the final output. If your Jenkins is successfully installed, all the plugins are successfully working. So this will be the final output. And from this, you will need to create one project. Like I'm creating a to-do list. So I will go to the new project, and I will select the freestyle project to make a project. And then the second part is to integrate the code, like the GitHub. To integrate the Jenkins and the GitHub, we will through the SSH key. So to generate the SSH key, you'll need to type one command like SSH key gen and some code to generate a public key and the private key. The public key, you should remember to give that into a your GitHub account, and the private key to give it to the Jenkins, so that the public key would be accessible to all, and the private key, if a coder needs to commit some changes in your code, so the private key would be the key for doing all that stuff. So this is the pure concept. So after that, after setting up the SSH key, you need to put that code repo link into your Jenkins to get integrated with that code. And in the Jenkins, there is a column that build now. If you click on that, the whole code which has been integrated with that Jenkins will run, and then it is made on Node.js. So we'll need to install then Node.js and npm install through its command. Like there is 2 or 3 commands for that. And then and also remember that the website, the final output of your website will be hosted on 8000 port. So always remember to inbound this port as well. So inbound rule, add the inbound rule of 8000 port, and this is like this. The final output, like I have typed in the, you can see in the terminal, like nodeapp.js. So the to-do list is running on 808, the arrow, you can see that. So here's the output. See the to-do list app. You can give the instances public IP with the port number 8000. This is the all manually done. Each and everything has been command type. So if we need to take that into automatic way, so there's a installation of Docker. So all the images, we need to pull the Alpine Node.js image. We don't need to install any from the command line. We don't need to install anything. We need to pull the image from the Docker hub of Node.js, and will if the installation is successful, you can check the Docker file. Will be you can type dockerfile.ps. You will see the Docker file into your terminal. And the second thing is to install a plugin into your Jenkins, like the GitHub integration. It was we were doing that manually. So we are doing automatically. So we need to install a plugin, GitHub integration plugin in Jenkins. So by installing the plugins, you will need to restart the Jenkins, because all the plugins need to be set up few times. It will require some few times to restart the system. And and third last thing, you will need to set up a webhook. You need to go to the GitHub account, and you will need to go into repo, your code repository setting, and go click on the webhook and create a webhook there. Put the link of your Jenkins browser IP to that webhooks, and connect that into, like, if any coder changes the code in the production web application, like the web application is in the production stage, it's and the client doesn't want a single minute of downtime. So basically, every coder will directly commit the changes in the code and then directly move. The DevOps role will be automatically played because of the Jenkins delivery. So then the automatically code. This is the output. Like you can see the commit changes. I have changes the single line of code, and I've done the I am an internet hack with India. So it will automatically be changes. And this is, thank you. This was from my side.
Okay, that was a very good presentation from your side. You will be expecting high scores from it. It was well presented, well explained. Everything was included, even to the point where the demo was needed. Okay. So,
Thank you, sir.
guys, we'll be concluding the meet today, as it has been past 9 already. Abhay was the last meet we could take. Else, remaining Jyoti and Mayank, please do come tomorrow. We'll take a presentation from tomorrow. Okay. Thank you, guys. I'll be closing the meet now.